Eric and I had been together almost 10 years when we got engaged. We had lived in 3 different houses in 2 different states, and we would have eloped, but my brother had eloped. And so when I got engaged, my dad said, you guys can do whatever you want about a ceremony, but your mom and I would like to be there. I'd kind of like to see one of my kids get married. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Dad. Obviously, we're going to plan a wedding. But I didn't. I didn't plan a wedding. I just found it so overwhelming, and I could not think about it at all. And so Eric and I had been engaged for about 3 years when my parents drove out from Arkansas for a visit and to tell me that my mom might be dying. So she had had cancer before, and she goes in regularly for scans and checkups, and they'd seen something on the scans that had been concerning. And now my parents were sitting in my kitchen saying that October would be a really good time for Eric and I to get married. It'd be really great if we could get married in October. And it was mid-September. And so as soon as they left town, I just started to panic Google, like small wedding, tiny wedding. And this phrase popped up, and it was micro weddings. And I was like, that's what I want. I want a micro wedding. And so I called a friend of mine, and I was talking to her about it. And I said, here's the thing. No matter how small the wedding is, there's just like all these decisions that need to get made. And I'm a little bit of a control freak, and I feel like if there are decisions that need to be made, I need to make them. And on the other hand, I don't care about any of this, and I just need it to get done. And she said, do you really not care? And I said, I really don't. I said, if it is a good, nice time and a lovely wedding, that's great. And if it's a shit show, Eric and I will tell stories about that for the rest of our lives. So I'm good either way. And she said, I think you should make the fewest decisions possible. And I realized that was correct. And there's this place called Sweetgrass Weddings, and they will do as much as you ask them to do. They did everything but buy my dress, basically. And I called them, and I was talking to them about our situation, and I really liked their vibe. And I said, be honest, can we even get married in October? And she said, well, do you want to get married in a barn or a historical building? And I was like, ooh, historical building, please. And she said, yeah, you can get married October 24th. And I just said, let's do it. And I sent her a check, and I wrote some deposits, and we emailed out wedding invitations because we did not have time to wait for the postal service. And everything was happening all of a sudden. So people were starting to RSVP, and they were buying plane tickets. And my mom called, and she said, I have some good news. She said, they did a different kind of scan, and it looks like... I don't think that my mom is a liar. I think you guys think that, but she's not. I don't think my mom's a liar. And she said, they think it's going to be scar tissue, and they think that I'm going to be okay. And I was so happy, and I was so relieved. And then I just said, I just planned a wedding in 6 weeks. And she said, I know, I feel so terrible. I feel so bad that we rushed you into doing this so quickly. And I almost didn't even know if I should tell you. And I was like, oh my God, always tell me when you're not dying. I always have time for it. And I said, no, it's fine. Eric and I are going to get married, and you're going to be okay, and it's great, and it's going to be great. And on October 24th, I went to the venue, and I was going to see my wedding for the first time. And I started to get a little nervous because I don't really like weddings or ceremonies or things that involve a lot of fuss. But I also know that planning a big event and celebrating a thing and fussing over details is how you show that things matter. And now that I know my mom is going to be okay, I'm starting to realize how much this really matters to me. And I walked in, and it was perfect. It was vibrant and colorful and lively and a little weird and a little irreverent, and it was just great. And after the wedding, people kept saying, oh my God, it just felt so much like you and Eric, which was exactly what I wanted. And I could not have planned anything half that good. And my parents were there. My mom was there. And Eric's parents were there. And my 90-year-old grandmother was there. And our 10-year-old nephew was there. And it was a great day. And I could have never planned it. But I could make it happen once I had the right motivation. Thanks.